This is the Civilization 4 NLL. Welcome to the Noble Leaders League Review Preview Magazine, Volume 9. I am Kjotleik. First up is the announcement regarding the start of the first qualifying round of the Noble Leaders Cup, the NLC. Then we have the headlines, followed by the review of the 8th round of the NLL. Next is a look at the updated war table, leader ratings, Adelskalender, top 6 cities and TOTL Tables. We're ending this magazine with a preview of the games in League Round 9. NLC Announcement. The first round proper of the Noble Leaders Cup will be held between League Rounds 16 and 17. However, before we get that far, we have 2 qualifying rounds with non-league leaders only, trying to qualify for the first round. I was debating just playing those qualifiers without recording them, but in the interest of transparency and the fact that some of you might find them interesting, I've decided to record and publish these games as well. On the screen you see the first 28 fixtures of the first qualifying round. These are the fixtures that will start Monday, September 13th. When the NLL Round 9 games start the following Monday, the League and Cup games will run in parallel. The first qualifying round consists of 152 games and will be completed between League Rounds 12 and 13. The second qualifying round will run parallel to League Rounds 13 and 14 and will be concluded between rounds 14 and 15. The 304 non-league leaders in the first qualifying round has been chosen semi-randomly. Some were excluded because they used the same leader head graphics as another leader. Some because they have a static leader head, and some were just left over after the draw had filled up to 304 available spots. If there are 2 leaders using the same graphics in the first qualifying round, it is because I've not been thorough enough in omitting them. Let me know if you find any, as it is a mistake on my part that I need to change before Season 2. Once the first round proper starts, there will be more info on the advantages given to league leaders playing against non-league leaders. I will simulate the fact that league leaders should be better than non-league ones, just as in real-life sports. There will be no YouTube notifications for any of the games in the first and second qualifying rounds of the NLC. These are recorded and published as an extra service to those of you who might find them interesting. The headlines. 394 turns into Game 8. It was confirmed that Julius Caesar stopped at 7 consecutive unbeaten games from the start of the season. It was Justinian I that came to Rome to end Julius's undefeated status. There will of course be plenty of opportunities to string together longer unbeaten runs this season, but there is something special about not having lost at all. 7 games will therefore be registered as the record for number of consecutive games unbeaten from the start of the season. On the other end of the league pyramid, Tokugawa ended his losing streak by drawing at Darius I. This is the second registered record with 7 in it this round. The category is number of consecutive games lost from the start of the season. This is a record nobody will want to beat in the future, in stark contrast to the previous one. Montezuma traveled to Stalin to face a defeat that would tumble him down from the top of the table and land him all the way down at 5th. Is this the end of Montezuma's time in the limelight? Back-to-back defeats may suggest that, but don't forget that Monty is a crazy warmonger that'll attack anyone, anytime, to get his conquest-hungry heart satisfied. He is still a very real threat to anyone foolish enough to underestimate his willingness and capabilities to declare and conduct wars. Round 8 Review. First Division. Qin Shi Huang won domination turn 4-4-5 as he hosted Huayna Capac. He climbed up to 11th in the table while Huayna dropped into the bottom 3 again as he is now number 16. It was the visitor's first defeat in 4 games and he was unlucky with other results going against him. Catherine showed strength hosting Pericles, winning the score per turn by 15-7. However, she did fail to win the game. A draw and a point was all she got. This leaves her level on points with 3 leaders, Pericles himself, Huayna Capac and Mansa Musa. They all have 5 points, with Pericles and Catherine above, Huayna and Mansa Musa below the relegation line. Mansa Musa did get a turn 3-4-8 Diplo win hosting Suleiman. It was much needed as he was in danger of getting left behind at the foot of the table. Now he at least has a chance to get himself out of trouble with another win next game. Suleiman is on 6 points, 12th in the table. Saladin was stronger with a score turn difference of 16-10, but lost the turn 4-7-4 culture to his visitor Gilgamesh. 13th in the league with 6 points is only 1 point above the bottom 3. Gilgamesh is in a happier place. He is number 8 with 9 points, looking up the table rather than down. Hannibal won a turn 179 Diplo victory hosting Pakal II. He is 2nd in the league, 1 point behind Julius Caesar. This was Pakal II's 4th consecutive Diplo loss. In his 8 games this season, he has lost Diplo 5 times. This will become a problem should he not start winning games soon. He is only 2 points away from safety, but he cannot continue this way for much longer. Willem van Oranje hosted Cyrus and lost culture turn 473. He tried winning culture himself, but Cyrus beat him to it there. Willem is 7th on 9 points, Cyrus 10th on 8. Ashoka hosted Huao II and suffered a late turn 490 domination defeat. This was the former Total's 2nd consecutive loss and he dropped into 5th place with his 11 points. He hasn't won any of his last 3 games now. Huao II was happy with stopping a run of 4 games without a win. He is 6th in the table with 9 points. Despite his lackluster form of late, he is only 4 points behind the top of the league after this win. Sarah Jakob crushed Peter as he won a turn 381 conquest hosting the Russian leader. This was Sarah's 5th consecutive victory in the league, and he climbed into 3rd place with 12 points. Peter stays mid-table with 8 points in 9th place. Finally, Julius Caesar stumbled and fell when he hosted Justinian I in what was supposed to be a triumphant derby win. It was a triumphant derby win, but for the Byzantine leader, not the total. Julius is still top of the league, but only 1 point ahead of the pack following. Justinian I is one of the pack. In conclusion, this round opened up the table at the top. Julius Caesar is first with 13 points, followed by Hannibal, Sarjakob and Justinian I, all with 12. Ashoka is 5th with his 11 points. In the bottom half, there are 7 leaders on 6 or 5 points, with Pakal II at the foot on 3. Second division. Charlemagne lost a turn 303 conquest hosting Kublai Khan. With 3 consecutive defeats, the Holy Roman Emperor is in 17th with 4 points. Kublai is 12th with 7 points, only 2 points clear of relegation. He needs a few more wins to get a comfortable distance away from the bottom 3. Louis XIV hosted foot of the table Wang Con. He did, for once, not disappoint. A turn 338 conquest victory was celebrated by his fans. The French leader is now 14th with 6 points. Safe for the moment. Wang Con is only digging himself deeper down for each loss. 18th place, 2 points, and with 3 points up to safety. After next game, we will have gone past 1/4 of the season already. Time for Wang Con to start getting a few points, or suffer the fate of relegation. In the British Isles derby between Boudica and Churchill, the latter won a late turn 437 conquest win. He is 11th in the table after back-to-back wins. The hostess is still number 9 with her 8 points. Gandhi hosted Ramses II and lost a turn 398 domination. Back-to-back defeats has placed him back down in the bottom 3 on 16th place with 5 points. The visitor stays 10th now with 8 points. Hatshepsut didn't have enough to stop an in-form Mao Zedong as she hosted the Chinese leader and lost a turn 332 domination. 2 defeats in 2 has dropped her into 13th place, her lowest league position all season, with 6 points. Mao is 3rd in the league with 11 points, challenging for a top 2 should Suryavarman II or Bismarck fail to keep winning. He now has 5 consecutive wins for a perfect 5-0-0 form. Victoria drew hosting Washington in a game where she dominated the map, winning the score per turn by 18-7. She was too late to reach a victory condition. This leaves her outside of the playoffs in 7th place with 9 points. Washington is 6th with 10. One peculiarity is that Washington has not yet won an away game this season. Only the bottom 2, Charlemagne and Wang Con, have failed to win away among the other leaders. Isabella hosted Roosevelt and lost a turn 401 domination. Both of them are on 10 points, Isabella in 5th and Roosevelt 4th. Hammurabi held out for a while hosting Bismarck, but succumbed to a turn 450 domination defeat in the end. He is 15 with 5 points, while Bismarck is still 2nd with 13. Suryavarman II convinced us all with his turn 276 conquest win hosting Augustus Caesar that he is serious about his ambitions for promotion this season. Striking back after his first loss of the season in this manner was just what his fans wanted to see. While the host stays top, Augustus fell out of the playoffs. He is now 8th with 9 points. Suryavarman II is top with 13 points, equal on points with Bismarck in 2nd. Mao Zedong is 3rd, 2 points down from them. Roosevelt, Isabella and Washington completes the playoffs, all with 10 points. Gandhi 5 points, Charlemagne 4 and Wang Con 2 are in relegation. 3rd division. Darius I hosted Tokugawa and became the first leader to not win against him. Thus Tokugawa's losing streak ended on 7 games. Darius is 15th with 3 points, Tokugawa 16th with 1. It is too early to say for sure, but the chances that one of these 2 leaders will end up rock bottom at the end of the season are not particularly low at the moment. Lincoln lost a turn 369 Diplo when Frederick came visiting. Lincoln stays 8th while Frederick is up to number 9 after back-to-back wins. Sitting Bull did what needed to be done and won a turn 402 culture victory hosting Alexander. He thereby climbed above his visitor in the table. Both are now on 5 points. Sitting Bull in 13th, Alexander 14th. This was Alexander's third consecutive defeat. Mehmed II hosted Ragnar and took home a late turn 470 culture win. His 4-game winning streak has led him to a 4th place with 11 points. Ragnar is 11th with 7, after his 4th game without a win. Elizabeth hosted Genghis Khan and lost a turn 436 domination, her 3rd consecutive defeat. Sees her slip into 10th place. That's her lowest league position of the season. Genghis Khan is now 2nd in the table after back-to-back wins. He has never been number 1. Shaka hosted Napoleon in a game that was a real fight all the way to the end. With 7 war declarations between them, they both declared and won, they both declared and lost. Wars. As none were able to gain a decisive advantage in war, it ended with a draw to share the points. Shaka in the playoffs with 10 points in 6th place. Napoleon outside of the playoffs with 10 points in 7th. The Goll hosted Brennus, trying to become the TOTL again. The game ended in a draw. The Goll is 3rd in the league, 1 point behind the top 2 leaders. Brennus is 12th with 7 points. This was the Goll's first draw of the season. Brennus has shared the points 3 times. Stalin was the one to dethrone Montezuma as he won a turn 307 conquest against the visiting TOTL. This was Montezuma's 2nd defeat in 2 games. It was Stalin's 5th consecutive win. The host is top of the league for the first time this season on 12 points. Monty dropped down into 5th place, his worst league position ever. Stalin and Genghis Khan is top 2 with 12 points. The Goll, Mehmed II, Montezuma and Shaka are in the playoffs. The first 3 with 11 points and Shaka with 10. Towards the bottom we find Sitting Bull and Alexander on 5 points, Darius I on 3 and Tokugawa on 1 point. Top 3 in the war table after round 8 are the Goll on 0.714, Sir Varman II 0.706 and Shaka 0.7. Still, there are 18 leaders with a victory ratio of 0.5 or better. Isabella finally lost a war. She is one of 4 leaders having lost just 1 war all season. Sari Jakob, Gilgamesh and Huao II are the other 3. Louis XIV did win 2 wars this round, so now there are only 3 leaders never having won a war: Hammurabi, Cyrus and Suleiman. Updated stats after round 8. Most wars: 30 Alexander, 28 Montezuma, 26 Frederick. Most victories: 14 Shaka and Montezuma, 13 Genghis Khan. Most defeats: 14 Darius I, 13 Mansa Musa and 12 Alexander and Elizabeth. Most cities captured: 73. That is for Surya Varman II, Shaka and Genghis Khan. Most cities lost: 63 Hammurabi, 61 Wang Con and 60 Darius I. Highest percentage of turns in war: 51% Boudica, 50.3% Shaka and 42.7% Napoleon. Most turns in war: 1688 Shaka, 1647 Boudica and 1328 Ragnar. In the leader ratings, Julius Caesar fell down below the 1600 mark again, but is still top of the ratings with 1595 points. Justinian I is second with 1591 and Sari Jakob third with 1588. 8 leaders are above 1550 points and 25 leaders above 1500 points. At the bottom, 2 leaders dropped below 1400. Pakal II has 1397 and Wang Con 1393. The draw at Darius I actually gained Tokugawa 1 point. He is now on 1408, third from bottom. The table shown on screen is the XNL, excluding non-league, table. As previously informed, I will only show the full rating table, including the non-league leaders, when a cup round finishes. The rest of the time it will be shown with league leaders only. There have been some changes at the top of the Adelskalender this round. Suryavarma II is still top, but he has improved his points from 1950 to 1834 after his turn 276 conquest victory. Sara Jakob is the new runner-up with 1899 points after his turn 381 conquest win versus Peter. Hannibal improved his points to 1933 with a turn 179 Diplo win, but he is still third. Willem van Oranje is fourth with 1955 and is the last leader on fewer than 2000 points. Tokugawa is still on 2500 as he failed yet again to win. The average is 2195 points after round 8. Sara Jakob has joined Hannibal on 4 victory conditions achieved. He is missing space while Hannibal misses conquest. In the first division, Julius Caesar is still top of the TSC leaderboard with 154 points. Wainakapak is second with 153, Ashoka third with 131. Mansa Musa 78, Saladin 77 and Cyrus 73 are the bottom 3. Second division is led by Suryavarma II on 149 points. Roosevelt is second with 144. Boudica in third and Bismarck fourth both have 135 points. Boudica is ahead on more number 1 cities, 6 versus 5. 4 leaders seem to drop off at the bottom. Washington 64, Charlemagne 63, Wang Con 52 and Hammurabi 51. In the third division, Stalin is top with 162 points. Mehmed II is second with 152 and the Gol third with 150. Tokugawa is alone at the bottom with 29 points. Closest to him, we find Alexander on 56 and Lincoln on 67. Despite losing, Julius Caesar retained his total for another round. He now has 2. Ashoka tops with 5 totals and is one of 5 leaders that can beat the total after round 9. Exciting times are ahead of us. Suryavarma II extends his reign to 6 consecutive totals in the second division. Roosevelt is still on 2. In theory, there are 3 leaders that can be total after round 9. However, Mao Zedong's chances are rather small. They will require him to win big and at the same time for Suryavarma II to lose big. We're talking about plus-minus 18 score turn difference for both leaders here. Possible, but very unlikely. Stalin gained his first total in the third division by winning against the current total, Montezuma. It is a close race at the top of the table though. Theoretically, there are 7 leaders that can be total after next game. It is unlikely that Chaka or Napoleon, both on 10 points, can make it, since Mehmed II plays the Gol and the winner there will have 13 points. If Stalin or Genghis Khan wins, one of them will be top. If both draw or lose, it is up for grabs. Round 9 Preview. First Division. Huayna Capac receives Saladin in what can only be described as a fight for survival. The host is in the bottom 3 with 5 points and the visitor on 6 points before the game. Huayna Capac is in 2-1-2 form and has lost only once in his last 4 games. Saladin's form is 1-0-4 after back-to-back defeats. good chances for the host here. Qin Shi Wang welcomes Catherine round 9. Both of them need points to avoid getting dragged down into the relegation battle. Qin is 11th with 6 points and in 203 form. Catherine is 15th with 5 points and in 014. I am concerned about Catherine's lack of wins recently. Qin is a slight favorite, but don't bet your house on him winning. Cyrus hosts Huao II. After the win at Willem, Cyrus is 10th with 8 points and in 203 form, while the second is 6th with 9 points and in 113 form after a strong win at Ashoka last game. However, before that he was on 4 games without a win. I am not convinced by either leader. Both of them have shown promise and both have been disappointing at times. Pericles takes on Willem van Oranje. He is 14th with 5 points in 113 form after having a win and a draw his last 2 games. Willem is 7th with 9 points and in 302 form. He lost hosting Cyrus but had a 3-game winning streak before that. I think Willem is a favorite here, but I won't be surprised if he fails again. Justinian I is hosting Mansa Musa. According to the table, this should be an easy win for the host. Justinian is 4th with 12 points, while Mansa is 17th with 5. Justinian is in 401 form versus Mansa's 212. Mansa is also terrible when traveling. He has lost all 4 of his away games. Why do I have a feeling this could be a surprise Mansa win? It is probably just my wishful thinking speaking. Suleiman is getting visited by Ashoka. He is 12th with 6 points and in 302 form. Ashoka has suffered back-to-back defeats and hasn't won in 3 games. 2-1-2 in form and 5th place in the league with 11 points. Despite his recent downfall, I think Ashoka is favorite. In theory, he could climb back to the top of the league with a win if all other results go his way. So motivation shouldn't be a problem. Gilgamesh takes on Sara Jacob. The host is 8th with 9 points and in 401 form after 4 consecutive wins. Sara Jacob is 3rd in the table on 12 points and 500 form with 5 consecutive wins. I am excited about this game. 2 leaders climbing the table, in good form and with high morale and confidence in their abilities to get the wins. Peter hosts Hannibal. Peter is 9th with 8 points and in 212 form. Hannibal is 2nd with 12 points in 302 form. While Hannibal seems favorite, don't forget he has lost his last 2 away games. He has 2 wins and 2 losses away. That is the same as Peter's home statistics. Could we be in for an interesting game and perhaps a surprise Peter win? Pakal II has the dubious honor of hosting TOTL Julius Caesar in the first game after the visitors' first defeat of the season. Pakal is last in the table with 3 points. Julius is top of the table with 13. Form-wise it is 104 for Pakal II and 311 for Julius Caesar. Anything else than a Julius Caesar win here will be a shock result. Second Division. Louis XIV opens round 9 in the second division by hosting Gandhi. He impressed in his last game. 14th in the table on 6 points is still a bit close to the bottom 3. 203 form shows some promise. Gandhi is in the bottom 3, 16th place with 5 points and 203 form as well after back-to-back defeats. This is a relegation battle. Rock bottom Wang Con is visited by Hammurabi, 2 points and in 005 form with a 5-game losing streak and counting. Things are not good for the host. Hammurabi is not much better, 15th place with 5 points and 104 form. For Wang Con, this is the closest to a must-win game as we get this early in the season. Churchill takes on Charlemagne in England, 11th place with 8 points and in 203 form after back-to-back wins. Charlemagne is on a 3-game losing streak in 104 form and is 17th in the league with 4 points. Can he frustrate Churchill enough that he gets a chance to grab a win here, or is this another 2 points for the English Emperor? Ramses II is the host in the Egyptian derby versus Hatshepsut. Ramses is 10th with 8 points, Hatshepsut 13th with 6. Ramses is in 302 form, Hatshepsut in 203. A close call between two almost equally strong leaders. And since it is a derby, all bets are off. Whoever wants it the most on the day will become victorious here. Augustus Caesar is hosting Isabella. 8th place with 9 points in 212 form for Augustus. Isabella is 5th with 10 points in 401 form. The loss came last game to stop a 4-game winning streak from expanding into 5. Both of them has shown enough that I reckon they are good candidates for a playoff spot this season. This game can go either way. Roosevelt welcomes Boudica to America, 4th place in the table with 10 points and in 302 form for Roosevelt. Boudica is 9th with 8 points and in 203 form. Not easy to spot an advantage for either of these two here. Bismarck takes on Victoria in Germany for round 9. The host is 2nd in the table on 13 points and in 311 form. Victoria is in 212 form and is 7th with 9 points. Two leaders in reasonable form, both in position to fight for promotion this season. I'm anticipating nail-biting for both sets of fans in this one. Mao Zedong hosts Kjotleik Khan. Mao is 3rd in the table with 11 points, Kjotleik 12th with 7. Mao's form is superb. 5-0-0 was reached last game as he extended his winning streak to 5. If he wants to go top, he needs for it to reach 6. Kjotleik is in 311 form himself, with the draw being away to Suryavarman II. Mao Zedong is my favorite, but given Kjotleik's draw at the Khmer, I don't dismiss his chances here. Washington receives TOTL Suryavarman II for round 9. The host is 6th in the league with 10 points and in 212 form. Suryavarman's form is 311. He has only won one of his last 3 games though. This is an open game to me. 3rd Division. Brennus hosting Sitting Bull is the opening game of round 9 of fixtures. Brennus is 12th with 7 points, Sitting Bull 13th with 5. Brennus got a draw at the goal last game and is in 113 form. Sitting Bull won hosting Alexander and is in 212 form. If Sitting Bull can make it back-to-back wins and get a positive score turn difference, he will go above his host in the table. Tokugawa receives a visit from Elizabeth, 16th place with 1 point and 014 form for the host, 10th place with 7 points and 203 form for the visitor. However, Elizabeth is currently on a 3-game losing streak. If Tokugawa gets his first victory, he could extend her streak to 4 games. Alexander hosts Lincoln. Alexander is 14th with 5 points and in 104 form, currently on a 3-game losing streak. Lincoln is 8th with 8 points and 203 form, only 1 defeat in his last 3 though. Montezuma is visited by Darius I. Back-to-back defeats leading to a 302 form has dropped Monty to 5th place with 11 points. Darius I is 15th with 3 points and in 014 form. The draw came last game hosting Tokugawa. I have to believe this is a golden opportunity for Montezuma to get back to winning ways. If all stars aligned for him, he could even get himself back into the number 1 spot. But that will require all other results to fall his way. Genghis Khan hosting Shaka is one of the 2 big games in Division 3 this round. Genghis is 2nd with 12 points, Shaka 6th with 10. 311 form for Genghis after back-to-back wins. Shaka is in 221 form after back-to-back draws. Considering how few games end up as a draw, that is worth a mention of its own. I cannot tell you who will win it, but I can tell you it will be a good game to follow. Ragnar takes on Napoleon this time. The host is 11th with 7 points and in 113 form, without a win in his last 4 games. Napoleon is 7th with 10 points and in a 311 form. Seems to me Napoleon is the favorite here, as Ragnar keeps on disappointing. Mehmed II versus the Gol is the second big game in the division. Mehmed is 4th with 11 points, and in 4-1 form, currently on 4 consecutive wins. The goal is 3rd with 11 points also, and in 3-1-1 form, undefeated in his last 3 games. The winner here will go top of the league if both Stalin and Genghis Khan fail to win their games due to better score turn difference. Frederick is the host for Stalin. The German leader is 9th with 8 points in 3-0-2 form after back-to-back wins. Stalin is total with 12 points and in a perfect 5-0-0 form after 5 consecutive wins. While Stalin is a clear favorite here, don't forget that he is the only leader to have lost a game against Darius I. He is capable of both glorious victories and unfathomable defeats. That is Frederick's chance in this game. This was the 9th edition of the NLL RPM. The round 9 fixtures start Monday, September 20th. Before that, the first qualifying round of the NLC, Noble Leaders Cup, starts with games from Monday, September 13th. Cup games will be played alongside league games from now and until the end of the second qualifying round. You will not be given YouTube notifications for the qualifying games of the NLC. When league and cup games are published on the same day, the cup game of the day goes live 1 hour after the last league game. I am Kjotleik. This has been the NLL RPM Volume 9. Goodbye for now.